All right, here we are in game number 1 of this semifinal series on the Aureil Stormgate Invitational Tournament. And this semifinal is going to be starring Aftermath's Theory in the Blue Infernal. We see a puppy dog already scouting him out, and that is Mixu's dog, Mixu, playing in the red Vanguard. And we saw already Mixu's dog was able to scout in the right direction, meaning that he saw the conclave here on the high ground and knows at least some of the tech. We have a vault going down on the low ground as well. And we see that TheoRy's Hexen has scouted cross map actually. That's an interesting scout pattern. And does not find Mixu there. And chooses to walk home, not teleport home. So she is probably going to go to the next location. How TheoRy knows this is the right location, I'm not sure, but he is going in the right direction. Although he is going to actually just choose to teleport back. So that indicates to me that TheoRy has not really got a good scout out on Mixu yet. He did know that the dog arrived right away. When your dog arrives with that much speed, that usually indicates one of the closer two spawns, because it's unlikely that the dog can cross spawn, although we did just see TheoRy go cross spawn, so some folks do scout cross spawn first, and at least that was my scouting pattern on this map. On the older version of the map where there was no horizontal spawn, I would often go cross spawn first and then switch to the vertical spawn. On that old spawn pattern, of course, after one scout, you would always know where your opponent is. That's no longer true in this case. Now all possible spawns are possible. And TheoRy's got a little bit of a creeping advantage, although what we're seeing here, this is Mixu's fun creeping style. Requires a little bit of micro, although maybe, I love this. TheoRy must have seen this in earlier games of Mixu and realized, hey, this is where Mixu's probably going to be, and came up and got a kill on a dog, although I think he lost a fiend or two as well. What do we have going down behind us? A barracks. Very interesting. I think that's just opportunistic in the sense that that's where his bobs were, and instead of pulling more bobs off mining, he's going to build his racks up here. So he did manage to clear that. But this army is straight up in the base. And trying to get on top of these Therium mining bobs. Are we going to get an overcharge? Yes, we do. And with that many overcharged bobs, this army is not really going to be able to put up a huge fight. They get cornered in the back there. I love this. The effigy is actually body blocking. The Hexen manages to get out of there. But all of the rest of these units are going to go down. Now the question is, how much damage were they able to do? Did some bobs get lost there? I didn't quite see any. The overcharge keeps them alive pretty well. And in terms of supply, we see that Mixu is now taking a lead. That sort of sacrificing that army did not get the at least supply trades that TheoRy was looking for. Now his base is on the way. But it looks like the bobs here have decided to cut a hole in the back, and now they're going to come right into the... There is no scout farm. Sometimes there's a scout farm up here. They're not going to see this. There are a couple gaunts here. There is the Hexen who managed to teleport away before, but they're right on the front line, and these Lancers do so much bonus damage that Hexen goes down. A few more gaunts pop out, but there's some good micro out of Mixu to make sure the Lancers are on top of the gaunts. These two gaunts on the right are going to go down to the Lancers. And it looks like TheoRy's trying to get on top of the sentry post, but he cannot. These two more gaunts pop out, but they're going to be lost as well. There's a single brute, but that's GG in game 1 from TheoRy. Alright, here we are in game number 2 of this best of 7 series. Again, starring TheoRy here in the Blue Infernal. And his opponent, Mixu, in the red Vanguard. Now, Mixu was the victor in the last game with his Lancers running by and getting into the base and doing some devastating damage after a failed push from TheoRy. Now, this map is Mixu's choice. It is the smallest map in the pool. It is the smallest map in the game right now, which is Broken Crown Light, which is a variant of Broken Crown that's kind of been squished down and made a little bit smaller. For instance, you'll notice in the back here, there's no mines back there. Instead, this is smaller, and the ramp is a little bit closer to get out to this mine here. Likewise, there's no natural here. There's this more distant natural. I say more distant, although I mean it's a slightly more distant than the natural in the original Broken Cow, but again, this map is kind of squished down a bit. We got a little dog on Hexen violence here. This dog's trying to bite some ankles. She's not having it. A brute jumps out to chase him away, say get off my lawn. And they're going to head towards the speed camp. Well, there's also a Lancer coming here, so this is going to be a battle over some Shadow Mastiffs, or it's just going to be a battle. They forget the creeps and they decide, let's go at it. A Skull of Shedda trying to chase down the Lancer. A Bob in the background repairing the Robo-Dog. And after being hit with the Skull of Shedda, the Lancer decides to turn and fight. I don't know who really wins that battle, actually. A Brute and a Lancer with a Hexen backup with a possible Puppy Dog as well. And there's a lot of posturing back and forth here. Another Lancer's been added. Now that's starting to look like this is going to be in Mixu's favor. Although we see another Brute as well, and an Effigy. And did that Skull impact? Yeah, so the Skull did manage to get on that Lancer. And now we do see the Shadow Mastiffs get aggroed by TheoRy and his Brutes. But he lets them just run back to their position as Mixu's still posturing. His weak Lancer's been moved over here. Another Skull of Shedda impact on a Lancer. And another Brute showing up. And it looks like Mixu's maybe trying to get a little bit of a flank or a surround there on the Hexen. But the Brutes just do a really good job of blocking their way towards her. She's sort of hugged against this cliffside here, making it hard to maneuver against. And this small map, the Lancers just run around the outside and they're right back here. We now have a permanent Effigy summoned here from TheoRy. At least I assume it's permanent. Nope, I lied. That's the permanent one. This will allow him to just soak up in that white health as long as he can and have a more defensive position to fight from. You notice how he pulls his Brutes back onto the Shroud. And now the Lancers are getting in. They're going to hopefully jack some of these creeps. Ooh, looks like they got two there and another one there. So good job by Mixu to come in and steal those creeps after TheoRy tried to scoop them. But just a lot of skirmishes. No one's captured the actual tower yet. TheoRy moves in. He sends one Fiend ahead just for scouting, but it goes down. And now there's a Hedgehog on the map. The speed camp does get captured, and they are going to have a little skirmish over it. At least the Hedgehog is going to try and kite some of these Brutes a bit. Now the Hedgehog and the Dog move forward. Maybe a little overextended here. They do get one Brute. And more Hedgehogs being added. There is a sentry post over here. I imagine that's turned into, yeah, a repair turret. And TheoRy is holding this speed camp as sort of a forward position right now. When there are only, you know, 2 camps on the map, they become maybe more highly sought over territory. Another Brute's low. Good micro from Mixu. Yeah, I'm curious why Mixu hasn't sent a few units over to capture the other camp. He certainly could do that with just a couple Lancers if he wanted. But instead, he's sending his Hedgehogs around to the front base. They're going to find some Fellhogs here that chase them away. That's maybe more micro than you need. You could just kill the farm and the Fellhogs would be gone. Hellborn added. This feels like an early Hellborn to me. And there's also a Vulcan. Okay, this is a strong push coming out of Mixu now with the Bobs in tow. What are they going to build up here? Another repair turret maybe? We see Another effigy go down. Okay, there's a Weaver there. Now the Weaver takes the bonus damage from the Vulcan. Couple Brutes getting blocked away, and the Fiends get taken out too. Not looking very good for TheoRy here. Mixu's army is looking pretty strong. We do have a turret in the background here, which maybe is going to get... Yeah, we have a Repair-O-Matic set up as a Bob gets added in there. Now this is a pretty strong army. We see that there is a Fiend run by going from TheoRy. But the Fiends are coming back now to try and put up some kind of defense because this attack is brutal. All these Bobs on auto repair are able to keep a lot of these mech units alive. There's just not enough DPS from TheoRy right now. And we see the Shroudstone go down. The Hellborn in the back is just hoping to, you know, get the work done that might be able to push this away. Nightfall Infestation going down. A couple other Weavers showing up. And that's going to be GG in game 2 out of TheoRy. Okay, here we are in game number 3 with TheoRy in the Blue Infernal. His Lumber Imp already chopping down the trees and popping down a Conclave. And his opponent, up to nothing in this series with 2 quick wins already, is Mixu in the Red Vanguard. And we see his dog running across the map speedily, while the Hexen... Now the Hexen went in the back. She took her own cabbage. That's to steal it from the dog. And another imp here. Is this an Expo imp? Probably not, because he's going the wrong direction. The lumber imp already chopped down the wood. So that was a farm. There's also going to be a vault going down. Possible that was intended to be a vault into a farm, but the harassment of the dog made TheoRy change his mind. And if that's the case, then the vault is a little delayed. Typically not going to make a big deal into the build. Now the Hexen's shown up. She sees, oh, it's a command post here. She didn't go into the main, but that usually means if there's a command post this early, usually means there's no racks back in the main. You would have had to spend that money on the racks, and your command post would have been delayed. And so TheoRy's going to go into creeping here, and we'll have a little bit of a creeping advantage in the early game just because Mixu has chosen to go command post first. It also means that TheoRy might be able to breathe a little bit easier, knowing that you know, he might be able to get into that macro game, maybe get a base up and start playing the way he wants to play against Mixu, and might not have to face that early pressure, but who knows? Mixu might still mix it up, and off of this econ start, might just drop down, I don't know, 4 racks or something like that and start pumping units. We have 2 Lancers queued. So it is going to be a Lancer opening. We have Fiends already on the way. Now remember, he scouted out, so he knows that this was a command post first. He knows the racks is going to be delayed. He knows any units out of that racks will also be delayed. We're going to see the first Lancer pop right now. But yeah, I think the purpose of this is not pressure. This is to go jack some creeps. There is a dog here, can see what's going on. Also, the cabbage gets stolen. And one of the Shadow Mastiffs already goes down. And some good micro from TheoRy to keep his Fiends alive. Although both his Fiends die now. Probably macroing. Fiends are just so squishy now. And this camp gets taken. Now, okay, he's going to turn to try and do some pressure, but there is already a buzzsaw cannon there. You run away, yeah. You don't want to fight into that. Even though more Gaunts on the way. So he's stuck to Gaunt Tech. We did see the vault go down, but I don't see... Oh, there's some Brutes. There are some Brutes arriving to join. Now, this is a pretty large army out of TheoRy to start out here. I wonder if his plan is to push into the buzzsaw cannon after this, or if he's just gonna try and creep on this side of the map and, you know, deny that income from Mixu before returning to his side and creeping on his side. So we'll keep an eye on that. This puppy dog, what are you doing? Oh, he's probably just checking to see, has there been some... Is there an imp over here trying to chop my trees or something weird like that? I like that scouting style of Mixu, just being open and aware. Part of that might be he saw the army down here and he saw it move away. And he's concerned, well, if there was an imp there, maybe that army is going to be up in my back. And this is unprotected, and we just see that sentry post going down now. See this one being vacated so that the units can move out on the map. And where are they going? They're going to go take the healing camp. So yeah, indeed, TheoRy's strategy was, well, I'm just going to steal the income from your side of the map before returning to my side. And interestingly, going for this energy camp here, maybe just next in the rotation, kind of makes sense. But it also gives you Ethereum income, and that might be part of the calculation that he has here. Oh, he's also chopped down his own back there as well, while also putting down now a third base. We have kind of half saturated on these two mines. That's maybe one of those mines saturated. And he's fully saturated here with only 2 on Therium. So he's been going slow on the Therium, but we do see Plague Axes on the way. Just a slow drip on Therium. What that does is allow him to focus more on more shrines, more imps, and maybe a handful of extra brutes. And it's Hedgehog added here now. We have 1 mech bay. We also have a hangar bay. And we see a evac being added there for maybe a little drop play. We'll see how that gets used by Mixu. Drop play has become more of the meta for both these factions, actually. In the most recent patch, Harbingers have definitely been entering into high-level play. I've been seeing them used by many different Infernal players. And Vanguard, similar to the Terran that they're like in StarCraft 2, drop play has always been sort of a useful component of it. I've seen a lot of Vulcan drops and, of course, Atlas drops for some Atlas drop micro. And it looks like TheoRy has just been going on a creeping rampage so far. And actually, here comes an evac, and he's going to spot it. He sees 2 Vulcan. Well, he doesn't know what's in there, but he sees the evac. I hope he saw that evac. The evac's diverted. Oh, okay, so he did. He's got his Skull of Cheddar out there, trying to find it. And here comes a Hornet. These units try and maybe take the Therium camp. Okay, the Hornet takes out the Skull. But that's got to be a warning. Yeah, we see that TheoRy is moving back. Now, where's the drop going to go? This imp line right here could be a very valuable target. And indeed, looks like that's where he's going. 2 Vulcans jump in, try and get a stun, but they only get 1 imp with the stun. They try and spin up their giant Gatling guns, but there was enough army here to scare them away, and they scoot away. And is this evac going straight home? No, he's going to capture the tower. Trying to deny some of the vision on the map, but we see another effigy immediately summoned. And some Vulcans get dropped out. They want to fight here. A shield goes down on one of those Vulcans. That will help keep it alive. That really boosts it. Which one is this? Shield up. 1,000 damage. Okay, can absorb 1,000. That's crazy. It's a crazy shield. But the Vulcan actually went down. Did the other one get... That's the Hornet. Oh, the evac... That's a Sentinel. There's the evac. On the return back to base. Using the hangar repairs ability right now. And I don't see the other Vulcan, but it may have... Yeah, there he is. Just out hiking this time. And we do see Mixu trying to move out here. Now, the force from TheoRy is pretty big. It's almost all tier 1 except for these Weavers in the back. Okay, so this force was not necessarily intended to put pressure on. They're just coming here to take out these creeps and get some boost in income. And it looks like there's some battling over towers down here. A couple brutes. Kind of like this. The brutes, it's sort of like ever escalating armies are going to be sent down. You send a fiend, I'll send a dog and a lancer. You send a dog and a lancer, I'll send 2 brutes. You send 2 brutes, I'll send who knows what comes next. Trying to see if I can figure out if this brute does not look upgraded to me. We do have a Hellforge out. In fact, we have every building out. We have more Spriggan tech, it looks like, being added. Are there Spriggans on the map yet? Yes, there are. There goes a Lancer. A couple Hedgehogs with their more mobile, or their more mobility. They're able to kind of scoot away there. One of them sieges up and takes out the Spriggan that was following. And now there's some Gravens in here. Ooh, some really nice sticky bombs impacting on almost the whole army for TheoRy. Of course, that does damage on the initial impact and slows anyone standing in that sticky goo, including friendly fire. Ooh, that looked like a miss. Maybe a stasis drone going down on his own Vulcan. I wonder what that does. Maybe that stops the enemy from attacking it. Maybe there is a reason for doing that. Maybe that was a strategic play. Oh, I think what was probably happening was he was trying to maybe pick up the Vulcan with his evac. Hard to say. Another sticky bomb going down. Ooh, good micro from TheoRy to move that one Gaunt to the front. Those slow units are going to get picked off by these more mobile army. And Mixu's just trying to move back and forth here, picking off units as he does, and at this point picking off the Luminite tower as well. Another little skirmish happening. We got the Sentinels moving forward. We have a sticky bomb on a brute. We have a shield going down on all the units here. What does that give them? Nano defense bubble. No, that's not it. Oh, that is what it is. Nano defense bubble. 75% reduced damage from ranged attacks. Okay, that's really cool. Doesn't help with the brutes or the weavers, but it helps the gaunts and the sprigs. And now this army is going to get pushed back. It looked like TheoRy just said, okay, we're going to push into that. And weavers, remember, are observers, or detectors, I should say. And so they are able to see the Gravens even when they're cloaked. So the Gravens are not necessarily relying on that cloaking ability. They're here for these sticky bombs. And 2 more sticky bombs going down. Lots of damage dealt to all those units. Good splash damage from those sticky bombs. We see the Weavers going down, and this is going to be bad news for TheoRy. There is still a lot of Spriggans here. And the Spriggans, ooh, I was going to say they don't have a lot against them until these Hedgehogs siege up, and that's incredible anti-air. Ooh, all these expensive Hexens going down as well. I've seen this play from TheoRy before, to move into a Hexen play mid-game, late game against Vanguard, but unfortunately he lost some of those Hexens there. Not able to get some of their skills out, the Miasma and the Venom Traps, or Skulls of Shed out, of course. Now these Hedgehogs are moving forward, a couple of promotes to keep the weak ones alive. Flame Imp's on, good impact, killing a couple Graven. You always gotta watch out for Imps. Now these Imps are just transferring. Are they gonna flame on? Yeah, there they flame on. And again we have a shields up going on. What was this shield again called? This is called Nano Defense Bubble. Okay, I gotta remember that one. We have a stasis drone going down on one of the Spriggans. You can get the Spriggan out if you just attack it, and that's looks like what happened. Another sticky bomb going down on some Gaunts. We have a Nightfall infestation going down, but only capturing one of these Graven. And trying to catch these Graven in retreat. Of course, they can cloak up. There's an Atlas here, too. Fortunately, we don't want to lose that Atlas. But here there's a slightly defensive position. We got a sticky bomb going down. The Vulcan's standing there trying to get as much work done as possible. The Atlas has already gone down. We get a couple lashes on a Graven. And being chased back to this repair turret, but maybe all the way back. This army from TheoRy now is looking pretty dangerous to Mixu. He keeps moving back, although his Gravens want to get some nice sticky bombs down. That would be good to lessen the Gaunt count. Maybe kill some of these Fiends as well. Couple nice sticky bombs going down right on top of that Gaunt ball. A little bit of micro at the last minute to save some of those Gaunts. And now we've got some Weavers teleporting back home. And a lot of Gravens. It's a ton of Gravens here for Mixu. Some of that earlier mech play seems to have been abandoned for pretty much mass Graven. There are Sentinels and Evacs still. Those look left over from earlier. And a couple of just leftover Hedgies too. And this force is going to come in here. Now, there's the risk of an infiltrate going down as well. A couple sticky bombs right on... Ooh, and I think that's a well-calculated move. Knows just how many sticky bombs are needed. A ton of Flame Imps coming up here, but only getting a couple Graven for their sacrifice. And the whole army's now come. But the Graven are trying to get out of here. Some really nice sticky bombs going down. Ooh, TheoRy tried to microwave at that one, got all the way in the back and impacted on all of his different Gaunts there. And now these Graven moving forward and trying to pick off some of these units, in particular the Weavers who take bonus damage from the Graven. Graven aren't so good at, ooh, I was going to say not so good against Brutes, but we watch as he exploded like 4 or 5 Brutes with that sticky bomb. Another sticky bomb going down. Killed the Weaver before the sticky bomb launched. That's not how you want to do it, or else the sticky bomb does not work. So Mixu with this Graven army managing to do a lot of damage to TheoRy. In fact, taking a quick peek at the supplies here, Mixu's up by about 50 supply. Now with some infiltrates going down, now that's going to lock down top bar abilities for TheoRy. Some Flame Imps go off, but I don't think they really got any good impacts. I think they were killed by the Graven before they were able to impact. And now it's Hedgehogs added to the Graven, so it's not pure mass Graven. Now we have Hedgehogs. Those Hedgehogs are going to be great anti-air against the Spriggans and the Dragon. This game, despite being the macro... Oh, we have a little Graven force over here. I didn't notice this. But despite being the macro game that I think TheoRy was looking for, this is looking like it's in Mixu's favor. This base going down again. And we have Hedgehogs over here. So we have a double strike force here. We have Gravens coming in. They're trying to take this out. Looks like they might get cleaned up here by the Sprigs and actually the whole army showing up here. So this strike force gets taken out, and this is defended, but this base is going to go down. Some Flame Imps being triggered, but they go into the sticky bomb, and they just can't move. Poor little imps, sacrificing their life in a puddle of ichor. And now these the Graven leaping forward on top of these Brigands, getting a little bit of lag here. And the Hedgehogs, well, it looks like they're just going to take out this creep camp now. TheoRy is, you know, producing new army really rapidly, as you can do as a Inferno player, and is getting back up close to maybe matching Mixu's supply. Part of the reason for that is Mixu is nearly max and cannot get much above where he is at right now. And now we're going to get a serious skirmish here right in the middle of the map. We got another one of those nano swarm bubbles going down, and huge sticky bombs. Lots of brutes here. There's just so many brutes. Another nano swarm bubble going down. Lots of anti-air coming out of the Hedgehogs. And now it's TheoRy that's being pushed back. It's hard for him to even engage with his units because all the sticky bombs are just slowing those frontline brutes. I don't know if the brutes have been able to get any attacks off yet. They've just been walking back and forth in these sticky bombs. There we see some miasmas out. That's nice, although the units are leaping forward to try and get on top of those Hexen. The miasma's just not in the right spot right now. Again, lots of brutes coming forward. Finally, the brutes are getting on top of the army, but more sticky bombs going down. Somehow these brutes are managing to survive all these sticky bombs. And it's probably just new brutes streaming in. And now finally these melee units are on top of the army and they're trying to get some damage done. Mixu's just decided to turn and fight against this. I don't know if that's the best choice. There is a healing turret and a couple repair turrets here, so he does have that defender's advantage. But actually, maybe this force is able to hold. He pushes forward a bit, snipes a couple more weavers, actually pulls back to this other defensive position here. The dragon, oh, the dragon goes down. That's really good news for Mixu. And this force may be a little overextended now for TheoRy. Trying to push all the way in. Having lost the dragon, that's a huge boost, and also fighting off of Shroud now. These units are likely going to go down. We see a couple good sticky bombs. These gaunts are not long for this world. And the Hellborn are in retreat. The Weaver is just left alone trying to chomp down that command post, but no. Weaver decides to retreat too. Probably going to get taken out here. Turns to fight, gets one swack off and actually kills a Graven with it. These poor Hellborn, are they going to get picked off by the Hedgehogs? No, the Brutes come in to defend. Hellborn turn to throw their fireballs off. More great sticky bombs going. Oh, all those really, really weak Brutes there. If there had just been one more sticky bomb, they would have been taken out. But now, again, the tides are turning a little bit in favor of TheoRy. He's got some Fiends running out ahead of these Brutes. And a new dragon has been summoned, so at least he was able to get the second dragon out. Now remember, there's a 5-minute cooldown on those dragons, so that's just testament to him keeping that first dragon alive long enough that the second one was able to be summoned as well. A lot of sentry posts looks like here. Maybe these are habitats. Sentry posts, okay, a bunch of sentry posts going down here. Repair turrets. He was putting some medevacs, or no, what are they called? Medtechs in there to get the healing turrets. So he's had this sort of defensive front, but he hasn't put a lot of, say, Lancers in there, or even a Graven. You can put a Graven in there and make these sticky bomb turrets. He's instead using it mostly for healing. Now Mixu back up to about a 30-35 supply lead, but there's just so many of these tier 1 units in TheoRy's army, and that's probably because he's having trouble getting the Therium he needs to, say, go heavier into Hellborn. Now, oh no, these imps try and come to this Therium base here, and there's just a couple of Graven, or actually maybe just a single Graven here with those sticky bombs. And I think the imps were able to survive. This Lancer hanging out in the light forest, making it hard to get on top of them. And this is an opportunity for Mixu to push forward here, try and get some damage, trying to take out the Shroud Stone. Lots of sticky bombs going down. A few of those Brutes dying as a result. And the Brutes turning to run, but turning to run through the sticky bomb, making it hard to make it through. And now it's Mixu's chance to run back to his healing turrets. And there we go. We do get a Graven going into the turret now. A couple Gravens in the turrets. But TheoRy turns to run away. Oh, we actually have another push happening on this side. Flame Imps getting out. Not quite getting the impacts that TheoRy wants. So this two-pronged war is what Mixu's trying to get some damage done by pushing on both sides. He's hoping that, okay, maybe I'm going to have to fall back on this side, but that means maybe I can get some damage on this side. More Flame Imps coming out. Boom, boom. Oh, beautiful. All the Hedgehogs going down, but the Graven's staying alive. And having the micro on both sides of this battle here Luckily, with this army, he might be able to just kind of move in a little bit in terms of Theory. Lots of micro needed from Mixu. But Theory's army here, yeah, most of these units don't have powers, don't need to be microed that well. And again, these Graven coming forward with Infiltrate on this base, locking down the top bar abilities, as well as stealing some money and doing some damage. And that base was now taken out. Now there's, ooh, huge dodge on the sticky bomb. Good job, Theory. And still just fighting over this, but this is such an entrenched position. I don't know if it's really what Theory needs to be pushing into time and time again. If Theory had split some of his army in the same way that Mixu is, he might be able to send someone to the other side there and have more success with a push. He keeps pushing into these healing turrets and repair turrets and Graven turrets with their sticky bombs. What is a Graven turret called? It's called an ambush post. What are these ones? Med stations. Okay, med stations and ambush posts. But it looks like Theory's making some headway here. He is able to keep getting up to that front line, letting those Hellborn get some shots off, and then pulling back to just stay out of the range of some of those turrets. All these hedgehogs, sorry, are in the low, but now they pull back to their own healing, repair turrets, healing turrets. So the Hellborn and the repair turrets are kind of countering each other. The Hellborn are doing this damage over time, but if the units can get back into their range of their healing turrets, they're going to heal over time. Although Theory is steadfast on this push. Now we see some Atlases being moved to the front. They need to siege up. They don't want to walk all the way to the front there. They are going to get lashed down. One gets lashed down, but now an Atlas sieges up. This is bad news for Theory. He's been basically chewing away his supply into this meat grinder. And Mixu losing units too, but I think the trades have just been more in Mixu's favor. And I've been hesitating to click away from this battle because it's so engaging, but there are still Graven out on the map in the north here, running around doing some damage to Theory's econ. Already one base has been taken out, and now Theory's only on Hellborn tech here. There's Bobs being pulled to the foreground, and that is GG from Theory in this epic game number 3. Okay, here we are in game number 4 of this best of 7 series. I was about to call it a theories. This best of 7 theories. Well, Theory is hoping to get back in this series because he is down 3-0, and here he is spawning in the top right of Secluded Grove as the Blue Infernal. Now, his opponent, with 3 incredibly strong games already, is Mixu in the Red Vanguard. And we see a Rax on the low ground here for Mixu, kind of mirroring the position of the Vault on the low ground here for Theory. So both of them have opted for a little bit of a low ground play. Not 100% sure what that's telling us right now, but I do think that means they're both probably going for eco early, because what that says to me is they want these buildings to be part of their defense on the low ground. Now here's a cool play. 2 Bobs fighting with the dog. Oh, they weren't overcharged because that would give them even more armor. Now, there's some interesting tanking going on here. So I think Mixu knew. Now we have an overcharged Bob showing up. That's curious. And he's on repair. Now, the repair is super strong. There's one really low dog here, but as long as he's not getting targeted, he's fine. And the Bobs have switched to repair to keep the dogs alive. Really interesting creeping. I have not seen this out of a Vanguard before, and I think that's really cool. Now, these Bobs are still moving out on the map. Not sure where they're going. And we've got Brute creeping over here from Theory. That's more standard creeping style, splitting his Brutes and then using his Hexen to tank at the end. Okay, so I see what Mixu's up to. We've seen this in a few of the earlier matches by Mixu. using a buzzsaw cannon to creep these tougher creeps is really early. We're only at the 2-minute mark, and we're going to see some creeping. Now, TheoRy has seen this pattern before and has tried to get on top of it and maybe cause it some problem. Although, I don't really know if you can harass this creeping style that much because there's a buzzsaw cannon there. That's the whole point of this creeping style. Are you gonna, you know, walk into this buzzsaw cannon that can tank a bruiser? This is actually even cooler. I haven't seen it done in this particular way. These units don't really want to engage. Okay, now they fully engaged. For a moment there, they were pulling back. Yeah, see, they're pulling all the way back from the repair turret. I guess it is a repair turret right now, not a buzzsaw cannon. Lots of micro needed in this case, I think. And is this a mech bay? Okay, Mixu has got some of the coolest strats out there. Almost feels like a celestial, building his buildings wherever he wants. And wow, so this is a fun style, but it's sure slow on the DPS. The cool thing here, though, is this dog is perfectly tanking the bruiser with the repair turret focused on it. Now, what has TheoRy been up to while we've been watching these cool creeping going on? He's creeped out, you know, his side of the map in terms of the weaker camps that you'd usually creep in the early game, while Mixu's stealing jacking his tougher camps. Now, why did he turn around? I thought he was going to keep jacking. He's gone and sent a fiend there to scout out and see what's going on. But he must have seen that this tower was taken, so he knows something weird's going on up here. In fact, he may have made the choice to even do some pressure. That might have worked out for him. These units are so out of position that if he had just marched his army right into the base, I think this could have been really rough for Mixu. And we are getting a Fiend run by, we'll see. But now, Fiend run bys are not as dangerous. These are Invincibobs. Like, I don't even know why you would target Bobs in this. Target the supply depots. Like, here, the Bobs become invincible, and they can repair each other. Yeah, I think we're going to see in the future meta that targeting Bobs, or, I mean, unless we see some changes to the overcharge and how Bobs work, I think targeting Bobs is just not really the best when you're harassing. Could have taken out both of these depots already, probably. Now they're just hiding over here. I do like this. I'm not sure if, you know, was Mixu paying attention? Did he see them run out of his base or not? I mean, he obviously didn't see them run out of his base. They didn't. Oh, here comes a Vulcan. Oh, immediately lashed down, but the shield is put down on it. Now remember, the shield's up. Is that what that one's called? Shield's up for, it looks like 10 seconds or so. Can absorb up to 1,000 damage. Crazy, crazy power. One of the Weavers has gone down. This push is looking pretty rough, but there's some nice static D here. Another Weaver pops out. The Vulcan has managed to stay alive for now. Yeah, this is a rough kind of push, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be deadly at this point. It could be, but this could certainly be held by TheoRy. Now, TheoRy, oh, lashes in the medtech. Interesting choice. We see the Vulcan jump jet forward and get a stun on some of these units. We have a lash going out on the Vulcan, and now it's going to get focused down. Yes, one Vulcan goes down, another one gets lashed in. But a double lash. I like that. So it's going to get focused too. Actually, it's going to try and run away out the back. Will it get away? Is there another lash? They're on cooldown. And they're slow. They're so... No, but a surround from the Fiends. You don't usually say that. A surround on the Fiends kills the Vulcan, because Vulcans are so good against those light units. But the surround on the Fiends just stopped him from moving and was able to get him focused down. This push is not looking like it's going to work out. Is probably going to have to be a retreat for Mixu. We see the sentry post go down. The $sign, I think that means Mixu salvaged it. I'm not sure if that's what it's called in this game, but recovered it for money. Either that or the $sign just means that was a real cash money move right there. Way to go, TheoRy. You killed the sentry pose. Your cash money. Probably that's what it means. I'm not sure. We'll look it up later. Alright, nice lash going down. Ooh, lashing on the Lancer too. Just now using those lashes to just get the kills, because every unit he can pick off at this point is going to be in his favor. We saw a lot of units go down for Mixu, and that push was... It wasn't really all in, but it was really heavily committed, and a lot of the units being lost has meant that there's a huge supply lead for TheoRy. This is the game that TheoRy wants to get in. We see that this natural is much delayed for Mixu. He's only now putting down his additional production buildings. Has he still got that mech bay up there? No. I don't know if that was taken out or if it was also salvaged. It may have just been salvaged because it was strangely out of position. Another base going down here while there's already a third base up with a lot of, let's see how many, we got 10 workers on Ethereum there. Now, one reason you might do that is because there's a long walk distance here. So the imps, you can put more imps on there and it won't necessarily mine out. Now, this imp's going to run away. I think he might just hide in the high ground or in the light trees and then move back. Oh, maybe not. He says, fine, I'm a Ethereum miner now. But I like that move. This is the change, I think. He says, okay, fine, you won't let me take that secret hidden base over there? I'll just take the middle. There's 2 bases here plus double Ethereum. And honestly, I think this is the move for TheoRy because he has the eco advantage, he has the army advantage. Went ahead, get more ahead. That's what Artos has taught us. So here he is, trying to get more ahead by moving out into the middle. This also gives him a great opportunity to have his army in a offensive and defensive position. While having it sort of forward like this, he'll be able to defend some of these bases while also threatening to do offense much quicker. He is pulling his units out of position here to get some creeping done. A little bit of back and forth between this Lancer and Fiend up here, but these towers have respawned, and so now it looks like Mixu, trying to get back in this, is going to try the same thing down here. What do we have? A Graven. I can't really see it, but I could tell by its energy that it looked like a Graven. So maybe going to try and get back in this by creeping out these camps. 2 secret Graven running by. Now the secret Graven can also be a way for Mixu to get back in this by maybe getting some cool damage with an infiltrate. But they're just for the moment hiding out. Now let's keep an eye here. TheoRy's army is looking aggressive too. Ooh! How did they survive? I'm not sure. But they did. And now that's a lot of flame imps to try and take us. Yeah. The Fellhogs are just attacking now. But okay, let's go see what's going on here. That was some pretty good harass from Mixu. But now we see that TheoRy's army has moved into Mixu's base. Those Atlases are being microed with an evac, but there's just so much stuff here. A premature trample. I'm not sure what that trample was about. But now the lone Graven going down. The Atlas is over here being chased down by Weavers. There's a Magmadon on top of this Vulcan as well as a bunch of brutes. Magmadon does get a chomp down and eats a... Well, there we go. That's a GG out of Mixu. Yeah, the Magmadon keep chomping down on those fiends to get that white health. And that's going to be a victory for TheoRy, forcing more games in this series. Okay, here we are in game number 5 of this best of 7 semifinals series between Mixu here in the red Vanguard, dropping Arax on the low ground, and TheoRy in the blue Infernal, also dropping, a Conclave this time on the low ground. So last time we saw this sort of mirrored build, it was a Vault, but this time it's a Conclave. And this is Titan's Causeway, which I believe is TheoRy's map choice. Ooh, followed up by a Vault. And a nice little sort of SimCity wall going here. That's going to form with the natural once there's a shrine there. And already there's a little bit of harassment going on here. It looks like Mixu was once again trying his cool little 2 bobs and a dog style, but this style required a lot of micro. Actually, even the infest damage is not enough to outdo it. So I said it required a lot of micro. It looked like there was a lot of micro in the last game, but now we see that no, actually 2 bobs and a dog can at least out heal or out repair the DPS of 3 slimes we saw, because 2 of the slimes were already gone. And instead TheoRy has head back to his camp, and I like this positioning of his gaunts. He's got 2 in the back. What that means is they're tanking these 2 slimes. Each one has 1 slime. The other 3 slimes were on the Hexen, and with that tanking arrangement it spreads the damage out. We see none of them are overly injured, and that means all of them are going to be able to heal up a little bit quicker. They don't sit there and soak in the juices, which I might do because I'm not quite as good as TheoRy. But he's just going to rely on that passive healing that happens even when you're outside the camp. As long as you have the camp captured, you'll get a passive healing. And so his units will heal up nonetheless. And some nice creeping of this speed camp, getting some advantageous charges out of the Shadow Masses so they weren't sort of jumping on top of his units and making it hard for him to combat that. And we also see this base having been taken out already. And now Mixu's doing his super cool creeping strategy again, but now is this a Shroud Stone? No, meat farm going down for TheoRy, and TheoRy trying to get on top of this. So we'll see how this works out. There is the Buzzsaw Cannon, of course, and the Buzzsaw Cannon does splash damage. It doesn't just hit its initial target, it bounces around. And now we got units on units, and actually it's the Lancers on top of the Gaunts getting some really good damage. They're now trying to take out the Hexen. The Brute's doing Ring Around the Rosie with the Lancers around the meat farm. Oh no, the Hexen goes down. It's just Brutes down. These Lancers are pushing forward. Actually, no, maybe they're going to just try and run out the backside. A very weak Lancer. And these Fiends are trying to get on top of it, but they're weak themselves. Ooh. Did we get... Okay, the Fiends went down. They looked a little suspicious to me with their lightning legs. It tricked me into thinking it was a Skull of Shedda, but it was not, because we have no Hexen on the map. The Hexen went down. So I don't think that engage was good for TheoRy. I think he needed to leave that Buzzsaw Cannon alone. And what would have been better is if he had just taken those units across the map and attacked the command posts or the racks or something like that. Some good micro on top of that weak Gaunt. So the Lancers take out the Gaunt, and now they're trying to move on top of these Gaunts as well. And again, they do get the Gaunts out, the Brutes. And that's GG out of TheoRy, and that's going to be a quick end to this semi-final series.